your what we done started. Look at what we done started. This the people party. Peace and love, party people. My name is Talib Kweli. This is the world's best podcast, The People's Party. As always and as usual, I got my lovely and talented co-host with me, Jasmin Leigh, in the place to be. What's up, Jasmin? How you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It's sun is shining. I have my coffee, ready to go, baby.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got a lot to get into, so I don't want to waste the people time because today's guest is one of the most prolific guests that we've had on the People's Party. It's part of the reason why we do this type of show, so we can give people like this their flowers while they still here with us. This guest today makes any rapper alive think twice before calling themselves a hustler because I swear to God, nobody can out-hustle this man. 15 studio albums, from Getaway Clean in 1991 to Last Don, MP The Last Don, it was a top seller. 2016, Louisiana Hot Sauce. 9 group albums, six of them with the supergroup TRU, True, the mastermind behind No Limit Records. They steamrolled the rap game. They came out with the tanks. You know, if you saw the tank, that was a mark that you was definitely getting a quality product. As a businessman, he changed the way the labels did business. He changed the game in terms of the way deals were structured. He showed artists like myself and many others how to appreciate their own value, from sports marketing to real estate to basketball leagues to slides. This man got slides. We talk about a man who was in the NBA, an accomplished actor, not just an actor, but a filmmaker, a producer, a writer, all that, a family man. Everybody in his family got a record deal damn near, supporting his kids, doing reality TV shows. I mean, look, if I continue talking about what this man, this No Limit soldier, has done, we wouldn't have time to ask him any questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the ice cream man, the last Don in the building, Master P. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Good to finally connect with you, brother. I appreciate you doing this show with us.
Yes, sir.
I want to get started by talking about how I came into contact with your music. I'm from New York City, which is more like a East Coast lyrical city as far as when I came up. Obviously, the South and certain regions and certain sounds have dominated the space, and New York is not the same way it used to be. We look to other regions for our influence more than we used to. But back in the days, really lyrics was my focus, and I didn't care much about anything else. So when you first came out with, you know, Ice Cream Man and all that, I was working with a producer out of Cincinnati named High Tech, and I was hanging out in Cincinnati, Ohio, and your music, No Limit in particular, does very well in Cincinnati. I'm sure you know that. Yes. And so when I was in Cincinnati back then, and I want to say this was like late 90s, early 2000s, the way in which they talked about you was with such high esteem, high regard, and high reverence. And I'll be honest with you, brother, I didn't get it at the time because I was only focused on lyrics. You know what I'm saying? So I remember asking one of my partners back then, but what is it about this Master P why is it that every car damn near in Cincinnati is bumping these records? And he said, Kweli, you focused on the lyrics. We focused on the hustle, and we respect this man hustle, and we respect the fact that he come from the mud, he come from nothing. And when we hear his music, when we bump his music, it's making us feel like we could do it too. We can make it out too. And I want to quote 2 Chainz when he talked about first meeting you. And he made that same point. He said, I just want to let him know how he influenced the whole South in hip hop. We used to argue, people like they ain't understand why we appreciated Master P and his music. It was more than that. I felt like it was his grind, his hustle. He actually put music out like every week. I even heard stories about some of the songs never even being mixed before. It was just about giving the fans what they needed. And he's the reason why a lot of us are here, including myself. So I'm asking you, how does it feel to have that wide influence over the culture?
It feels good. I mean, God is good. That means that you're doing the right thing, and it's never been about me. It's always been about the next generation and me being able to set a standard to where they respect us. Other cultures respect us for our business, respect us for our music. But coming from the South to let the world know that if they could do it, we could do it too. So it's all about starting, believing in yourself, believing in your team, creating underdogs, creating millionaires. Like you see what my hoodie say, Manyatta Team Millionaires. It's for me, it's
Yeah.
always been about creating other millionaires. It's just not about me opening the doors for others. And I feel like that's where the game has went for me. I never came in with a selfish attitude. It's always been about team and family. So it makes me feel good to know that we did something that they didn't think we could do, even as African Americans. So thinking outside the box, seeing a bigger vision. That's what No Limit has always been about. It's not just about one record or one artist. It's about building something. People don't realize it's not about the money. It's about the idea, coming up with an idea, creating something, being able to bring it to life where most people only see the mustard seed. We see the tree. So, you know, it's bigger than me. So I thank all my fans. I thank everybody that believe in me. I thank the culture. I thank the people that came before me, the Lil J's, the Uncle Luke's, the Tony Drapers. I mean, the people that came before me that influenced me, that I could get out there and get on the grind and get my hustle on and be able to celebrate them and make them proud. So I think that's what it always been about for me. Never been selfish. I can't do this alone. I got to have a great team. So, you know, yeah, it's all, I mean, basketball has been my life. Basketball got me out the ghetto, got me to college. And I think that's the most important thing, knowing that it's about having a great team. So, you know, you might have one person in front. Somebody might look and say, oh, Master P, he's the front guy. It's like Bill Gates. Bill Gates is the front guy. But everything else that come with it creates the team. It makes it work. It makes the engine goes. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Calliope projects where you grew up was famously violent. It was nicknamed the murder capital of the United States. And it was a significant part of why New Orleans led the U.S. in murder rate in the late 80s and the 90s. What are the positive and negative personality traits that the neighborhood instilled in you?
Well, I mean, the neighborhood taught me how to be tough. It taught me the hunger, the hustle, how to survive. So that was the good things, but you know, the negative stuff come with growing up in poverty, seeing people around you die at young ages, and I mean the violence. You know, everybody don't survive that. Everybody don't get a chance to survive that. So I'm just thankful. I thank the man up above. I couldn't change, you know, where I grew up at and where I came from. I'm always gonna represent it, but my whole goal is to show kids it's okay to make it out of that, to keep moving, to keep growing, to keep getting better. So my struggle, my pain, it built my hunger and my drive to get me to my destination and not being afraid to wanting to better myself. So the Calliope projects built my character, but I'm not afraid to change and grow up and get better. So anybody that watched my movement, you know, yeah, I come from one of the worst places in New Orleans and grew up in one of the worst projects in New Orleans, but that's not gonna stop my growth to be able to go back and save those kids. I worked so hard to be able to live the way I live, but my hustle and my grind is about being able to go back and help the elderly and the next generation. And that's what my heart is about now. To be work as hard as I could work, to not have to go back to live, but to go back to give. So the more we give, the more we give.
Yes, indeed. I want to send a rest in peace to Claude Miller. Your grandfather died of a medical error in '84.
Yeah.
You were the one who had to share the news, right? How did that tragedy make you take responsibility for your destiny and maybe make different decisions in your life?
Yeah, well, that tragedy pushed me to not stop. You know, my grandfather, he fought in the war and he was all about the soldier, the whole military, and that's where No Limit come from. But he always told me that, you know, you got to go start your own army. You got to start your own business if you want to be successful. So giving me that mentality, changing my mindset, that tragedy pushed me to know that I have to let his legacy live on. I have to be able to do the right thing, and to get myself and my family in a better situation. So it's going to take a lot of hard work, but my grandfather had that drive and that hustle to just keep going.
We know there's a lot of NBA players that decide later on to become rappers. And people talk about Quavo and Cole when it comes to rapper hoopers. But some may not know that you actually played for a league for Charlotte and Toronto in the NBA. I know it was preseason, but you're clearly the best ball player ever to get famous first from rapping.
Well, you know, people don't realize that I played basketball first. So basketball was my life. I went to the University of Houston. I mean, I played against Jason Kidd, Gary Payton, Sam Cassell, all those guys, Avery Johnson, all those guys know me as a basketball player. And I mean, when I was on the road with Tupac and them, I know they'd say like, man, you the tallest rapper out here right now. And I'm like, yeah, man, I played basketball. He used to always joke with me like, damn, bro, you tall for a rapper. I'm like, yeah, I played basketball. I really played basketball. So I think basketball, for me, it gave me another drive to be able to take over the music industry, because the hard work and, like you say, to go to college, be one of the top high school players, to be able to play in the NBA with Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, go to the Charlotte Hornets, the Raptors. I mean, but it was a journey. It wasn't easy. Like, people don't know that I didn't just appear in the NBA. I went through the CBA, went through the minor leagues.
Oh, wow.
So I paid my dues. So when you go back and look at it, we just didn't have social media. You could see that I really had to put the work in to get to the NBA. I even played with the Dallas Mavericks. With Steve Nash, I went there on a 10-day. So yeah, maybe I'm gonna put out the biopic on my basketball journey, because it was an amazing journey too. It wasn't easy like that. I went through the minor leagues, which a lot of people, it's tough to go through the minor leagues. I mean, the minor leagues to me was just as tough as going to the NBA. So everybody's trying to get picked up. So I went the back route, where it was a lot of hard work and a lot of practicing, getting in shape, being able to perfect my game to even get called up to the NBA. So, and then getting into the NBA was crazy, because a lot of stuff happened that, you know, we have social media now. You didn't have it back then. Whether we get into fights or whatever, you know, the coach always say, what happened in the gym, stay in the gym. So we got to go walk out after it's over with.
Play like nothing happened.
And be smiling like, and you know you just got into a fight with this guy, but you know that's how it go.
Right.
They be like, what happened? Oh, he fell. You know, so.
Right.
I mean, I think the biopic is a good idea. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, you know, I played with Steph Curry dad, with the Charlotte Hornets. So
you said with his dad?
With his dad. Yeah, me and his dad.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So we went to war every night. You know, it was fun.
And I know you blew your ACL. Would you say that the disappointment and that injury was what directly led you to start hustling?
Yeah, I think you know, after I got hurt, my grandfather was a big influence, because he was always like, well, what you gonna do? You know, you can't stop, you know, because everybody thought I was going straight to the NBA. And when I got hurt, I had to find something else. And that's when I really found the music, because I used to be on the basketball court rapping like Run DMC songs and stuff like that. They'd be like, man, what is you talking about? But I just I love the music. So I had to find out that, you know, maybe, you know, music is what it is for me. So, you know, I started really getting into the music and watching other successful black men like Rap A Lot records that Lil J had. And, you know, I was living in Houston because I went to the University of Houston. So watching that movement, it inspired me to, like, you know, this is what I want to do, to see a black man has a successful company. And I'm like, you know, that's something that I want to do. And not being afraid to admit that you could watch somebody else and be inspired, and then you could take your own thing and make, you know, into what you want it to be. So, but, you know, and that's why I celebrate those guys, because I took the good and the bad and looked at it and said, okay, what can I do? What can I add to the music industry? Like Talib said, in New York, they wasn't listening to Southern hip hop. And so I realized that the Ghetto Boys music was more like riding music, mind playing tricks on you. And I said, you know, in business, always find a problem. And I found the problem with, I said, you know, we need to add some music that make you party and dance and jump around. And so, you know, in New Orleans, we had a whole different sound. And I had a whole bounce sound. It was like, you know what? I want to add that bounce sound to street music. And that's when I found the solution to Southern hip hop, saying that I wanted to add that, make that different. Because, you know, in New Orleans, we was just bouncing party, but nobody was really just hardcore street, like telling those stories and feeling the pain and stuff like that. So I think that's when I found my niche.
I'm fascinated, me personally, by the fact that when you went to, you know, when you left University of Houston and you went to Bay Area, you were also going to Merritt College for business administration at the same time, right?
Yes.
So,
yes.
You know, I think that's an underappreciated part of your story, is that from day one, you were looking at all of your options. It wasn't just the streets of basketball or rap. It's like, nah, I'm gonna get on all of this business.
Yeah. Yeah, well, people don't realize I've always been a guy that's trying to diversify my portfolio. Like, it's not going to just be one thing for me. I know people say, be the best at one thing, that's how you win. No, for me, I watched so many people feel that I was just great at one thing. You look at a lot of NBA players, when the NBA is over, then they lost. But my thing is building a portfolio to where you have business, product, you have a brand. And that's why I kept wanting to learn. Education is so important. So even when I left the University of Houston, I went back to Merritt College to try to, you know, get back on my business game, to get my degree and keep it going. And hopefully one day I could take my business to the next level. Because after you get hurt, you start realizing, like, you one injury from being out of basketball. So what are you going to do? And everybody think they're going to get to the league. Everybody think they're going to get to the NBA. And I just started looking at it like, man, I got to do something else. And in business and education, I tell people all the time, don't pray for money, pray for wisdom. Because you have the wisdom, everything will come with it. You know, so me getting education, technology changes every year. Education is, people are learning. The people that are successful, they want to be a sponge to learn what's going on. And I think that has been the key to my success. You know, even as today, I'm constantly educating myself, constantly learning. I look at the guy, Reginald Lewis. He said, why should white guys have all the fun?
Have all the fun. Yeah. I saw that book.
And so what his thing was, why should they only be billionaires? Why can't we plan? Because people don't realize product outweighs talent. You know, so and when you figure that out, then you're about building wealth. You're about building generations of wealth. And they don't teach us that. And so you have to keep constantly educating yourself. And I start realizing that if they could do it, we could do it. And I just keep educating myself. I feel like in life, money come and goes. It go up and down. But I feel like I have $1 billion worth of knowledge because I keep educating myself. And I could lose it all and get back up and start over.
I heard you say I pray for wisdom, not for money, a couple of years ago, and I employed that into my lexicon because that's a very inspirational statement. So thank you. You also spoke about your time opening for Tupac Shakur. That whole Bay Area scene when you was there was bubbling. In your records, you specifically shout out Be Legit. You got a great relationship with Be Legit.
Be Legit and E-40.
And E-40, tell me about how Tupac, Be Legit, E-40, all those people from the Bay Area influenced your style at the time.
Well, I got a chance to work with E-40 Uncle St. Charles, and he just was a hustler. He was able to get product into distributors as an African-American man, and it showed me that I could do it on my own. I watched a lot of independent artists come from the Bay Area. I put together the West Coast Bad Boys when I was in the Bay Area. And just a hustle, man. People in the Bay just has that independent hustle. in that independent game where they feel like they could do it on their own. And I was like, if I take the hustle that I have from the South and mix it with this Bay Area grind, that nobody's gonna be bigger than me in the end. And that's basically what happened. I end up, starting small, building. You gotta trust the process. People gonna think you whack at first. People not gonna believe in you because you're different. But being different will get you to your destination if you put the work in. I went from selling no records to selling over 100 million records. And that's just because having those grinds and hustles from two different places. I had something that the average artist didn't have. They was representing one region. I was representing two. And I was able to apply that knowledge with what I have. And people don't realize applied knowledge help you win, because when I was in the Bay, I was selling records to the stores and distributors on my own. So I knew exactly what the fans, what the consumers was looking for. And by me having my own store in the Bay Area, people don't realize. So my hustle got even stronger, because when Tupac and E-40, whoever, Spice One, come to my store and say, man, this young dude got his own record store. And, and I'm putting their records in my store on consignment, which that has never been done before. You've never seen an African-American young person with their own business inside the community. And so, it taught me what people wanted. So when I came with the Ice Cream Man, I realized that at my time in the 90s, everything was all black. NWA, the Ghetto Boys, whoever, they just wore black. And I looked at my store, and it made, in the store, it was dark. So I'm like, I'm a light, when I put a project out, I'm a light the store up. So that's where the whole white Dickie suits came from. I wanted to change it. It was still hood, it was still street, but then I put the diamond No Limit logo on the back. And when the customers came in, they immediately went straight to that product.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Right.
I'm always fascinated by the connection with the Bay Area and down south. Not just the hustle, but the sound and everything. There's a lot of connection there. With Short coming, moving to Atlanta, and you going to Richmond, there was a lot of it's a great connection. And also just the independent hustle. I want to ask about Bout It, because Bout It was what put you on my radar, and not just the song, which I really love that song. You get to shout out everybody from Silk to Mia X. Rest in peace to Kevin Miller. You gave us what No Limit was in one song. But I don't know if you really understand how the movie impacted the hoods worldwide, because remember, as you mentioned, I said I was on some, lyrical shit. We wasn't really checking for the music like that, but the movie, that let me into your world in a whole new way. And I must have watched Bout It. Like, we was watching that every day at one point, brother. So thank you for making that and impacting us with that.
Yes. Now, people don't realize what I realized, that people need to see us on TV. They need to see us in a movie. They need to see the culture, because the movie makers that was making movies about us, they really wasn't experiencing what we experienced. They wasn't living what we live. So they really couldn't tell our stories. And I felt like this is a way, now that I have a fan base, that I want to be able to show them who we are. We don't have to wait to get to the big movie theaters for them to put us out. We're going to go after our fan base. So when you have product, you have to find a target market to sell that product to. And I had a fan base that I had bubbled up in the music industry. And I said, you know what? Let me sell them a CD. Let me sell them a DVD. Let me sell them a VHS at the same time. And that's what I'm talking about, building multiple revenues of revenue. We ain't thinking like that, because at the time, everybody just wanted a record deal. Everybody just wanted to be on a record label. I'm like, no, I want to create my own. I want to build my own brand. I want to be able to put other people on. I want to be able to create other millionaires. And the only way I'm going to be able to do that is ownership and having a company, which end up being the biggest independent company in the world. And I mean, I think
No Limit Enterprises.
Yes. I feel like we even outsold a lot of the major record companies, during our time.
Yes, shout out to
Word.
ownership. Because when you're growing up, you're like, oh, I want to be a rapper. Oh, I want to be an actress. And you realize when you get there, like they're just pawns. Like you have to be able to
Yeah.
be doing your own thing so you can decide what you want to put out, what you want to represent yourself.
Yeah, and I wanna let people know being an owner is not for everybody. I talked to Leo Korn about this the other day, which
That's a word.
everybody want to be the boss, but some people have to be workers. With every great team, every great company, everybody has to play their role. When I look at Bill Gates' business model, Bill Gates had people that sacrificed and played their role that even made just as amount of money as what we would aspire to make, millions, billions. But those guys play their role. So when you're building a company and building a team, even though I speak the word ownership, but I'm also saying that everybody has to play a role because everybody can't be the boss. And so and being a boss is not for everybody. Everybody don't want to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Everybody don't want to lose sleep. Everybody don't want to invest their own money into a project. Some people need to get a paycheck. Some people need to play their role. And that's what makes the team. It's like everybody can't be the quarterback. Everybody can't be the running back. But if you can be a boss and you can own something, that now you have the control of that business. So I think that's it. And being able to control the narrative, and also being able to be trustworthy by your colleagues, by your team, knowing that you're going to take care of everybody. So, shout out to the bosses. But like I said, being a boss is not for everybody. You have to have that hustle and drive to do what's right. Yeah.
Yep. Talib just mentioned Mia X, and she was called the mother of Southern Gangsta Rap and was vital to the No Limit crew. Can you talk about her and what she added to the mix and her lyrics? I think she still gets ghostwriting work for the bars she writes.
I mean, Mia X is a legend. She as best as it get when you talk about a woman with a pen. She opened the doors for females in Southern hip hop. So we got to celebrate her. We got to praise her. We got to give her flowers while she's here. I mean, she is the boss lady. I mean, when you talk about Southern hip hop, she the real deal. She added the flavor to what we have, and she's the mama of our crew. Everybody look up to me. I mean, she's an incredible cook, chef. She always fed the family. So it's like, whether, you could go talk to Mia X about anything. She a good person. She a woman of integrity. So, she definitely the boss lady of Southern hip hop, and we definitely have to salute her for that. And when you talk about the way she put her words together and articulated, I mean, she's incredible. So I salute Mia X. That's the queen right there.
Yeah, I have to concur and add on that as a lyricist. I definitely salute Mia X. She had me like paying a lot of attention to what she was saying. We definitely got to get Mia X on the People's Party. Follow Mia X on Instagram because she be showing you some of the meals she be chefing up on Instagram for everybody who watching. Definitely, salute to Mia X.
Yes.
Everybody has to grow, and I think that's what being able to find yourself. And I feel like hip hop is dying young now, so we was able to overcome that and able to grow and not be afraid to get older and have some sustainability. I'm talking about in the world, not just in hip hop. So. I feel like we came a long way. Y'all know our story. We come through the poverty, the pain, but God has blessed us because we looked at life saying we want to be able to be here to raise our children. So that means you got to do the right thing, and you can't be afraid to change.
So Ghetto D came out and Make a Certain hit the streets. Love that song. That started the run that everybody talks about from '97 to 2000s. When you became a 100 million per year icon and one of the biggest record executives on the earth. When did you finally look around and say, okay, we came out of the projects, we got out of the record store, and now I've made it? Was there like one specific moment?
I I remember when I first brought my house in a country club in Baton Rouge, and MTV came there and they seen the gold ceilings, and they was like, that was the first time I seen like MTV, like the production people like shocked, like, and I can't believe this guy got gold ceilings in his house.
Yes.
and fish, you know, in the wall and sharks in the wall and all this stuff. And I'm like, you know, I was like, man, I think I'm really successful, because to me it was nothing, but to see somebody else say it, you know, it's like, because I was really like, it let me know that this is not normal, you know. But for me, I'm like, you know, and even getting a house in a country club as a black man, you know, as a 20-something-year-old black man, that just wasn't normal. I was the first, you know, black guy to get a mansion in the country club in Louisiana, which is crazy to me. Like, I don't understand it. I'm thinking, like, that made no sense to me. But it was a process. So that let me know when they start putting, you know, my name in the papers and all this stuff about, you know, he the first guy to have a house in the country club. And I mean, that let me know that, wow, we came a long way from the projects.
Right, I see it at the table. You know, but then you start flexing on them with the Master PMP Last Don. You know, 4 times platinum, hugely successful. You went from calling yourself Master P to owning the rights to all your masters. And you had 85%, Priority was only getting 15%. That was revolutionary at the time. Can you tell me about the time surrounding that deal?
Yeah, well, before I did the deal with Priority, Jimmy Iovine had offered me $1 million to do
His
a
name
deal.
keep coming up on this show.
And I turned that deal down. I only had $500 in my pocket at the time. Went back to the projects, and that's when I realized that, man, I got to be worth 10, 20, 15, 20, 30, 40 million or something. If this guy don't know me and he offered me $1 million and I'm coming from the projects, I think that was the best thing I ever did, turning that deal down, because it made me go work harder. It made me come up with the Ice Cream Man. It made me enter into another arena of thinking and being to invest in myself. People don't realize you are your best investment. And my thing was, well, looking at the Motown and looking at all these other companies, and I'm like, man, maybe I could do this on my own. And sometimes you got to invest in yourself. But it took a lot of hard work, a lot of marketing. But I think that's where college came in from me at. So, you know, I tell any kid now, don't be afraid to further your education. By me going to college, I learned a lot about marketing. I learned a lot about preparing a business. I didn't learn the applied knowledge that I learned after college, but it set me on a roadmap to get started. Knowing about going to get an LLC or corporation, I was prepared. I was already ready to go. So I think that opened my eyes. That's why I keep telling everybody about education is so important. Like, not being afraid to learn. You know, I start going into the library, start studying about how to start your own record company. So I think if you want to have a successful business, don't be afraid to educate yourself. And I think walking out that door, turning that deal down, it took me to the Priority Records to saying, and it took me to investing in myself, going to Michael Jackson attorney and realizing I spent $25,000.
I love the story. I've heard the story before about how you went and found Mike Jack attorney.
Yeah. He was at that time. Michael Jackson was getting 22% of record, and I'm like, if this guy brought Neverland with 22% of record, you know, what other kind of deal that I could get? And the guy was saying you could get 85% if you get a distribution deal, but you're gonna need $200,000 of marketing money. So I gave this guy 25 grand, and I had to go back and sell records. I was selling records in the trunk of my car. Hustle. I went, saved enough money. That's where the hustle come from. And then when I got that distribution deal, I was able to invest in myself. And that's the only reason I got the deal. I had the marketing money to back it. So that come from educating myself to the business, knowing what I'm gonna need and how can I do this? How can I make this happen, make this work? So yeah, educate yourself. That deal changed my life, and I was able to change so many other people's lives because of the deal I had.
That's beautiful. I want to talk about the style of these No Limit album covers because I don't know if you know this, but with my group Black Star, my first debut album, inside the cover we had a tribute to pen and pixel art inside the cover. You knew about this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because I used to read the Source and whatever magazine, Blaze, Double XL was back, and the pen and pixel ads, the No Limit ads was dominating the space. To the point where I was like, yo, the only way that we could get on is if we need to get a pen and pixel. I don't think we got the actual real pen and pixel. We got somebody doing like imitation, but tell me a little bit about how that came to be and how the album covers, they had all the ads for all the other No Limit albums. So it was continuing to let you know that this is a powerhouse crew.
Yeah, well, every opportunity you get, you need to market everything that you're going to do. So when I had a pen and pixel deal, when I called a guy from Pen and Pixel, they had an ad out, we could create anything in the ad. And I'm like, okay. At that time, I had a diamond Rolex watch. So I sent the guy the picture of it. I said, look, put this on my logo. And I want this on this diamond thing. He was like, man, I don't know how to do it. I said, man, you said you could do anything. So he ended up doing it. And we ended up putting that No Limit diamond thing on everything. And that was the key to having people say, wow, this blinging. I want that CD with the bling on it, like that. Right. And then I went to Dave Mays. He was the owner of the Source at the time. Yeah. And I said, I wanted to buy like 3 years with the inside cover, the back cover of the Source. No, he was laughing. He thought, so that's why people don't realize that I had all these covers for so long. So I end up start selling some of my covers to the record companies just so they could put their orders on there because I had brought it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's what it looked like. That makes sense because that's what it felt like. I was like Master P and them is smothering, my nigga. Them niggas smothering.
Yeah. So if you look at it, think about it, I got a deal because so maybe whatever it was, 5,000 to 10,000 the ads or whatever. But by me getting it and paying it up for 3 to 5 years, man, I was getting it for a little bit of nothing. And then when the record companies came, they had to come to me to try to put their orders to promote because I already had the inside and the back cover already taken. So
that's like Coca-Cola. That's like Coca-Cola bottling. You got to go to Coca-Cola for them bottles.
Yeah, and that's how we controlled it through the marketing. And at that time, the Source was like the Bible.
Yes, it was. I had no idea that artists pay to be on the cover. I thought the magazine
not on the cover.
No, you're talking about the ads. You're talking about
the ads and the inside. So they had like inside.
Like, I got you. You open up the Source, the first thing you see is a No Limit record. You flip through
when you come from the front page, we had that after you open it up. So they pick who on the cover by whatever they were selling and stuff like that. But we
still,
saying
you have
controlling
to look at the front page.
Exactly. The front page, the back page, and the inside back.
Yeah. Now that's like being the first to pop up for Google searches.
Yes.
In 97, you signed the homie Snoop away from Death Row. At that time, it was like LeBron saying, I'm taking my talents to Miami. I mean, sorry. He said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. Snoop credits you with straight up saving his life. He did 3 albums with No Limit. Can you break those down and tell us how you think each of them hold up at this point?
Yeah, no, I mean, doing those albums with Snoop and signing him from Death Row, I mean, I always thought that Snoop was a boss. He was a leader. I mean, is what he's doing right now. I mean, he graduated from the University of No Limit and went on and
he did.
Took over the game. I mean, and he's a man of integrity. He's a man of honor, loyalty. You don't find too many people like that. And we kept it real with each other. I said, do these 3 albums. I mean, he rapped on everybody else's album. We always was a family, a team. So everybody did their part. And I feel like today Snoop would be able to go on and help so many other people because he paid his dues, he did the right thing, and we all took care of each other. I mean, that's what it was. I mean, at the time, he needed a home, he needed a company that believed in him, and that's what I was to him. So, I mean, it was a blessing, and it still is a blessing that we still together, we still work together. I mean, we just did this event with the kids, you know, taking kids off the streets, getting them in the gym. I mean, we had some of the top talent across the country. And matter of fact, I'm doing another All-Star game, just like how the NBA do All-Star. I'm doing it for high school, so you'll see that.
Yes.
You know, we'll be doing that real soon in the next couple months, and just giving these kids an opportunity to where, you know, we could show them like we've been through this, and if you do the right thing, because you think about it, people think it's all about basketball, but at this All-Star game that I'm doing in this All-Star week that I'm doing for high school, I'm also going to teach them about agents, about financial advisors, because we don't prepare for that. We don't prepare for money. So we have to know when we do get into these situations of wealth, how to deal with it, knowing, you know, what's the reason you need an agent, you know, how much you should pay them, and then how you should control the narrative. You the boss. You worked hard to be who you are. Don't let a financial advisor control your money. You know, let them show you certain things you could do with your money, but you also need to educate yourself too, to knowing, okay, how do I continue this wealth? So you need to know what a financial advisor job is, because we don't ask that as entertainers and athletes. We just know, we need a financial advisor. So that, you know, they could be putting your money in a penny stocks for all you know. So you need to understand economics and banking. And so we're going to show these kids that too. At this All-Star camp. Yep.
Snoop is in so many commercials right now. Every time I'm on the TV, I'm seeing something else. He
gotta beat Shaq out. I told Snoop, you gotta beat Shaq. You need 10 more commercials. Like, keep it going.
Right. He the new general. He the new general commercial, right? Like
but you know what? We have to be able. We have to be able to celebrate each other, man. Like Snoop then paid a lot of dues, and he been through a lot. And I feel like he's gonna do so much more. And I think this is showing this generation, you know, we want to prepare the next generation, but we also got to do it by our actions to show them that we can make money other places. So, you know, and I think that's what people are being able to see with me and Snoop. Like with me, I got product. So I'm gonna show y'all product is everything. That's the noodles, the rap noodles. Y'all like the song Hootie Hoo?
Hootie Hoo!
The Hootie Hoo cereal.
Yes!
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
like this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like if they could do it, we could do it better.
Yes.
Look, when I seen the Uncle P's pancakes, right? I was like, yo, like if that's for me, for someone like me, that's an instant sell. Like if I'm in the supermarket and I see that, I'm picking up a box of that.
You got to.
I'm picking up the slides. I'm picking up everything.
I'm definitely getting me some Hootie Hoos.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that. Like, so I'm also making some Snoop Crunch too. So you got
oh my
Master Crunch and Snoop. So you know it's coming.
That's gotta
real
be
soon.
infused. We need.
I was just about to say it has to be weed cereal. It has to be
THC, some CBD.
Nah, not like that. But
I need some weed cereal.
For the kids.
We need it for the adults.
We need the adult
right.
version.
Okay.
You know, Snoop got a cookbook.
We'll get y'all the adult version, but we got to take care of the kids first.
All right, so look, I get those for my daughter.
This is what I want to tell y'all, right? So we also have to be able to educate ourselves in business because there's so many African Americans that got taken advantage of. If you look at, we thought that Aunt your mom and Uncle Ben, we thought they owned those products. That's why we brought into those products. Those was like mockeries of our culture. And my grandmother made me buy those products because she thought that Uncle Ben and Aunt Jemima really, they made billions off us. So we have to change that narrative. Also, if you go back and look at Famous Amos Cookies, this guy is an African-American guy that built that brand with $25,000 he got from Marvin Gaye. And y'all, what y'all don't know, they stole that brand from him to where not being educated about the financial literacy part, he starts selling shares. And I mean, he's a guy that has nothing now. That this guy, they sold that company after they took it from him and sold it for $2.6 billion.
Wow.
And we have to change. That's why education is so important. Because imagine if we had $2.6 billion, all the kids in the community, all the older people in the community that we can help on our own. And so with my brand, with the Uncle P brand, it's all about the more we make, the more we give. Me and James Lindsay, we created PJ Foods to one day to be able to take this public, because that's how you build real wealth. They don't teach us that. The stock market and taking company publics, so our people could get a chance to make some money with us. You know, you don't just have to look at these big corporate companies that they have. People like us can create those now, and also give people in our community, opportunity to buy stocks. They don't teach us that. Creating wealth and building wealth is in the stock market and taking companies public. And that's what we have to teach our culture and our people.
I want to thank you for bringing up Reginald Lewis, Why the White Guys Have a Little Fun. I want to thank you for bringing up the famous Amos story, because I come from a community where these things are taught. I grew up knowing these stories, but people, that's why I'm like, when I hear you speak on it, I'm like, yes. And when I hear you speak on, when you said on, I think it was on the Breakfast Club, I heard you say, like, it's not just about getting to the president, it's about getting to the shareholders. I understand what you mean. But I do want to ask you if you've seen on Saturday Night Live, Dave Chappelle do a skit about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben.
No, I didn't see it.
I want to make sure that people listening on my team forward you that clip, because I'm out here in Ohio with Dave Chappelle right now, working on some things, and he was doing a joke about how Aunt Jemima got canceled or got fired, and Uncle Ben, and how she was gonna snitch on Uncle Ben and be like, well, and about how they really slaves.
Yeah, and people don't realize at one time when you look at it, these people was just models. Uncle Ben got $150 to be a model, and then Aunt Jemima got $50. So they families, and in all respect to their families, they don't receive no revenue. And I know their family was mad that they taking them off of that, but I think that's just mockery. Like, if you're not, like, these people made billions of dollars, but one thing I can say for the CEOs of those companies, to even acknowledge that, to say they're going to take those products off the shelf and do better, that shows that we've come a long way, and we are stronger together because we standing up for what we believe in. We need more diversity on these shelves, putting products on these shelves owned by African Americans and minorities. So tell Dave Chappelle, man, we definitely got to get together. I got to come get on that show with him and do something funny, man. We got to come and also, make people think and let them understand, like, who we are, who we grown to. Because I know that he really done matured as a man. The same thing with me. It's also about putting the message into our entertainment at the same time. So I'd definitely love to come do something with him.
Absolutely. And I know he would love to have you here.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to be clear, because we were talking about Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. I laugh because when you see the sketch, it's hilarious. I'm not laughing at, that they're slaves and that, it's not owned by black. The sketch is fucking hilarious.
Like, but I'm a slave.
And with the Allstate
you can't
guy.
Fire me.
We had the Allstate guy on there too.
Right.
Oh God, that shit was hilarious.
But P, when you talk about passing the wealth and the information down to the next generation, that's not just talk with you. You did it in full view with Little Romeo. I remember when Little Romeo was in third grade making hit records, and then we've watched you and him grow multi-generational business. We watched him thrive as an actor, a modern musician, executive. Man, tell me about your relationship with your son.
My relationship with my son is everything. Romeo is prepared as a young man to keep this legacy going, and to understand, to have the love and the passion for our culture, to want to see more people like us win. So for us as a family, it's not just about us. Everything that we opening the doors for, even in this product game, is to put thousands of other people with products. And matter of fact, we doing a show called the Master P Review, to where we want to make sure small business have an opportunity so we can market and promote their products, because they just don't do that for us. People calling this show the new Shark Tank.
Yep,
so
Black
me and
Shark
Rome,
Tank.
me and Romeo, we love our culture and our people, and he's in a great space to be able to build wealth, not for money, because we can't take this with us, but to be able to share and to open the doors for other people that look like us, and to be humble, because even though we successful, we are humble men, and we about our family, and show people if you do it the right way, that God will let you hold on to it longer, because all this success is temporary, but he'll definitely let you hold on to it longer, and you'll be able to go from being borrowers to lenders. So, that's the page we're on. Me and my son, we got a great relationship. Me and all my kids, I got 2 other young sons that are basketball players, one in the 9th grade, one in the 12th grade. Wow. And they're like some of the top basketball players in the country. God is opening up doors for them that is just going to be fruitful to it. But hard work, passion, and commitment. And I tell people all the time, if you want to be successful, being successful is about doing something and being committed to it and being passionate about it. Because if you're passionate about it, you will make it one day. Nobody can stop you. Nobody can stop you if you truly believe and invest in yourself and put the work in. And I tell people, what sells, the key to success is consistency. Consistency is what sells. McDonald's is a multi-billion-dollar company because of its consistency. When you look at the Big Mac, it's consistent. So everybody that's successful is something consistent. So you look at the iPhones, they selling consistency. The same thing with what we're doing, people don't realize, but we have to trust the process as African Americans, because we don't think we could do it. First time, like even when I came out with the product, people want to know, okay, the cereal, is the Hootie Hoos, is they healthy? Like if you buying cereal, you buying cereal. Like, know that. So, you're going to buy billions of dollars worth of cereals from all these other companies. Why not buy it from us? And then one time I know somebody said, well, P, your cereal look like Apple Jacks. So I'm like, okay, I do get my cereal made at the same company that Apple Jacks get theirs made at. But if you like Apple Jacks and you think my cereal look like Apple Jacks, who would you rather buy it from? Who would you rather buy it from, them or me?
Apple Jacks ain't number one color of Fruit Loop.
Exactly. And you learn in culinary school, we learned that a lot of products are exactly the same. It's just a name brand. Like if you get Heinz ketchup, you can get Heinz ketchup that doesn't have a name or says fancy ketchup or something. It's still made by the same exact people, only you're buying the brand name. And who the hell is Heinz anyway? And also,
well, guess what?
Healthy cereal is fucking disgusting. No one wants the frosted without the frosting.
I'm
sorry, but it's the truth, Talib. I don't eat healthy. If I want to eat healthy, I'm not going to eat cereal. You eating the wrong
healthy cereal. Listen.
If I want to eat healthy, I'm not going to eat cereal.
I'm going to eat some Hootie Hoos too, but there is some good tasting cereal, like vegan and gluten-free cereals as well.
Gluten-free is gross.
See,
if that's for you.
But that's what I'm saying. Everything is not for everybody. So you got to know. You got to know. But my thing is, though, the more we make, the more we give. So if you're going to buy cereals from them, why not buy it from us?
Exactly. Help a Black-owned business.
You see, and I think that's the page we got to be on, because if we're going to change the poverty, it's going to start with us. They're not going to help us. So you got to look at it. And that's my whole message. Yeah, we are working on making, healthy brands. We have that too, but you got to trust the process. For us to get our product on the shelves, we got to replace something. So even if you look at, the first thing you say about noodles, okay, well, how much sodium in the noodles? How much sodium in ramen noodles? But we got to get on these shelves first before we can replace and come back with something else. We got to buy something that our people going to buy first. So if you look at it, you're going to buy Fruit Loops, you're going to buy Frosted Flakes, all those brands. I'm saying, okay, now we got to have some way to get on these shelves to to offer some diversity. And then we could go to the vegan products and stuff like that, because it's even harder to get into that space, because that's an even smaller space. So I'm just saying, for the people that eat cereal, that's eating the Captain Crunch, the Frosted Flakes, the Fruit Loops, if we're making the same type of products and brand, if you buy products from us, then we'll be able to help more people in our community, in our culture, because the more we make, the more we give. So you know, we get our product made the same place. So with my rice, I get my rice made at the same company that Uncle Ben get their rice made at. So we giving other choices that our culture and our people could buy. And I think that's what's going to change the game. And when you talk about Reginald Lewis, I mean, he was able to change the game at that magnitude. And I want to let y'all know, December 7th, I'm going live with his daughter, and we're going to talk about celebrating him. That's his birthday, celebrating him on his birthday, a guy that opened the doors in a grocery business that did what me and James is doing in the snack food business. And it's incredible to be able to celebrate the people that came before you, and to be able to see their life and say, this what these guys did. That let us know that we can do this, that it's not impossible. So December 7th, we're going to celebrate Reginald Lewis.
Yeah.
Look forward to that.
That's amazing.
But we got to let people know it's not just cereal. It's also real estate and properties and all types of things. And I don't know if you know this, but when I got married to DJ Q a few years back, I got married at what I was told was Master P's house. Now, knowing more about the business, I know you probably own several properties all over, but this was a house in Bel Air, and that was a selling point for me. It was like, okay, it's Master P's house, you know what I'm saying? And you know, Questlove DJ'd and Latifah came through. It was nice. But talk to me about your foray into real estate and property, and just about No Limit Enterprises in general, because I don't think people really understand what that company is and what it means.
Yeah. So when you get into real estate or stock or anything like that, start small. Like I started small, buying like the $90,000 houses, moving my way up, understanding my mistakes. I tell people when I fall, I like to fall on my hands and push myself back up, fall forward. You're gonna fail. So when I first got into the real estate business, you know, I was buying smaller properties. Some things I feel that if you look at, feeling is not a loss, it's a lesson, and it's all about learning. So I learned at the small rate to be able to go buy the mansions, the $1 million houses and stuff like that. So I was able to acquire properties all over, and it's just a blessing. Like I said, educate yourself to building a portfolio outside of just music or entertainment or sports. Knowing that property, you know, that's another way that wealth is attained by other cultures. They know real estate is the way. And I looked into that and I said, I need to learn this from the ground up. And that's what I did. The same thing I'm teaching my family, teaching my kids, teaching people around me. Understand your business, learn your business, and grow at it. Trust the process. I always say start small and build no matter what I do. Whether the tennis shoes, the manatis, I came a long way with that. I'm like, if Nike could do it, I could do it. So diversifying your portfolio, don't be afraid to do that. That's how they do it. Because I come from New Orleans and I realize the hurricane might come and wash it away. But if you have several different options, several different businesses, then you're going to be all right. So, and I think that's the way we have to think. They used to program us to think that we only could be good at one thing to win. No, that's not true. All the people that think that way, they win and then they end up losing. And they can't get back up because they only know one thing. Like what I do is I'm good at one thing. No, I'm great at one thing, but I'm good at so many other things that are different components that work with that. So if you're good in the entertainment business, why not have a clothing business? Why not have product? Because you can market that at the same time. So if you look at, like we talked about the source covers, how I market all these different albums before they came out. And that's how I was able to sell over 100 million records, because I was marketing projects inside of projects.
You talk about your journey and you give us so much game in this new BT show, No Limit Chronicles.
Yeah.
Why did it feel so important right now to? I know I've heard you speak about the fact that BET was supportive of you when you started your career to sort of come back home to where you
Yeah.
feel like your original fan base was at BET and give us the No Limit story and the way in which y'all did over this No Limit Chronicles.
Yeah, well, No Limit Chronicles is the #1 unscripted show on BET, and I just want to thank all the fans for supporting that. And I wanted to bring it back home. I mean, I could have took this No Limit Chronicles anyway. I could have took it to Netflix. I could have took it to Amazon. I feel like the fans will find this at BET. This is where I started from. This the place that opened the doors for me. And almost like if you look at how Jordan did his story on ESPN, I think I think that this is the roots of my music, and that's what I wanted. And like I said, I just want to thank all the fans for supporting it, going to BET, making it the #1 show, and the #1 show on cable, which is incredible. And people are still watching it, till the day. And I wanted people to learn from my story and, see the struggle, the pains, everything I've been through, and to see what No Limit is really all about, like not giving up on your dreams and your goals. They close a door on you. I'm going through a window. They tell me I can't do something. They hate on me. That make me work harder. Somebody say I'm whack. I'm gonna go get better. And I think that's what life is about. Thinking outside the box, creating those business adventures that now a lot of people can benefit from. I mean, even when you look at the sports world, I mean, I'm probably the first entertainer to have a sports agency. Now you have a lot of them now, I see Jay-Z got a sports agency. Lil Wayne got a sports agency. I mean, I had the Heisman Trophy winner of that time, which nobody imagined that a kid from the Calliope projects could have David Fork and all these other big companies shaking and scared and nervous. We was ahead of our time. And I feel like it opened the doors to where we see that we can do this now. So now we're not afraid, to just give what we have to somebody else, knowing that if we hold on to it, we can all benefit off it. So, I mean, my story is a love story, is a family story, is a funny story, is a sad story.
Yeah.
But, No Limit Chronicles is my life. It's the real. And hopefully this generation could take from it the good and the bad and go chase their dreams and their goals and see that it's possible to obtain that type of wealth coming from poverty.
And you can't tell the No Limit story without talking about C Murder. And this documentary brought his case back to the forefront. He went away for killing in 2002 that he maintains he did not commit. 2 key witnesses, from what I understand, have recanted testimony. I remember when Katrina, which had a huge impact, not just in New Orleans, in the world, happened, the prison flooded, right? And he had to be rescued and transferred. That was a crazy story. Can you share with us the status of what's going on with C Murder?
Yeah, we still praying, and to overturn this is gonna take a lot, and even from his story, hoping that other kids able to see the good and the bad in this. That trouble is easy to get into, but hard to get out of, and I think that God is gonna do something soon. He's innocent. And we praying for him, and we with him to the end. No matter what, we gonna keep fighting till something happen and this get turned around. So, yeah.
We've talked a lot about your massive success today, and I know you spoke a little bit about giving back earlier, but I don't think people know truly about your charitable work and commitment to your community. Can you tell us about the work you do and your foundation?
Yeah, I mean, I do what I do for the kids and the elderly people at the bottom of my heart, so I don't really talk about it a lot. I just do it. And Team Hope Foundation, we've been dedicated to the community, the young people and the elderly for over 21 years. And I'm just going to keep doing my part. God has blessed me. And if I could bless the people that are appreciative, like the next generation and the elderly. I mean, people forget about the elderly people, and I have a passion for that, to make sure we could shelter them, make sure they have food, and just make sure we're able to spend time with them. And the young people, I feel like the next generation, if we could prepare them to further their education, it's so important, just preparation, giving them a start, and hopefully they could even pass us up, being able to find thousands of next Master P's that's in these poverty communities that just want a chance and just want to go to school, just want to better themselves. And I mean, I think that's what it's about for me. So I'm gonna keep doing my part. I don't ask nobody for nothing. I do it because I believe in the next generation and the elderly, and I feel like as long as I can, I'm gonna keep blessing them. So we don't deal with no government funds and nothing like that. We just, the more successful my business are, I'm able to help more people, and I'm able to do that in a couple different states. So it's not just in New Orleans. It's a lot of different states where I'm committed to, because I'm committed to the kids and the elderly. So yeah, that's what it's about with me.
Well, brother, we love and appreciate your contributions to this culture. You are an icon. I can't state enough how much we appreciate you dropping these jewels, giving us this game. And your story is one for the ages, brother. And it's a story of Black perseverance, Black excellence, and we love it. The People's Party is proud to welcome Master P. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.